This is a story from my fellow educator, Heather. There have been many times in my life when I wished it was all a bad dream, that all the memories would just go away. I usually don't ever bring it up. It's too confusing to briefly explain. What a lot of people don't know about me is that I used to travel the country as a Catholic musician. I even got invited to Nashville to record a CD because of it. My specialty was playing for an event called Adoration. People used to think that I had some sort of mystical powers, that if they heard me playing, God was actually present in the space. It followed me wherever I went. Catholicism ran every aspect of my life. I was a couch surfing 20-year-old and I wasn't making good money. But because of my connections through the church, I was relatively okay, financially speaking. There was one major conflict to being Catholic that would completely blow up in my face. One day in college, I was out drinking late with friends, and I let a girl to come over, crash at my bed. She didn't have a car, she was super tipsy. And I offered to let her crash at my place and then drive her to work the next morning. I figured it wouldn't be a big deal. Next morning, I got a text from my roommate, Vicky, who's also my admissions officer, saying, "We need to talk." She sat me down and accused me of being gay. I didn't deny it. She told me I needed to leave right away, that she even threatened me with violence, and I packed up what belongings I could in my car and I never looked back. My entire family abandoned me. I lived in my car for a month and not a single person in my family offered to help. I became a complete social pariah. I lost literally everything I'd ever known. I lost my connections in music. Such a strange juxtaposition to be in, because in a weird way, I was finally free. It's also fucked up, but I think a lot of the peace that came from feeling validated. I felt so proud of my decision not to deny it. There's a lot of power in persecution, and it was a fight I was suddenly completely willing to bear no matter what. I used to remind myself of phrases like, "God is love," in an effort to find Him. I would watch and I would read everything I could about the church's stance on LGBTQ+ issues. I had become addicted to trying to understand why it was wrong. I was finding myself entangled in this problem of being told God is love, but also seeing the LGBTQ+ community as being filled with love. I'd watch videos of gay couples, people who lived through the AIDS epidemic, and that kind of love shook me. God's love was presented to me as effortless, but it came with heavy strings. The love of the LGBTQ+ community was free. It wasn't until I made my way to New Orleans in 2021 that I started to find out that I belonged somewhere. New Orleans is riddled with pain just like mine. I mean, people can shit all over New Orleans for being super liberal, but here is where I began to find love. Real love. Authentic love. And if you can remember, God is love. All instances of love are good and godly according to Christianity. Music has finally come back to me. I'm a piano player now. I'm a gay piano player who works at Ben Franklin High School, and I could not be more fucking proud. I run all day in a pair of rainbow Doc Martens, and nobody bats an eye. This current legislation is serious, but it'll never be able to strip my identity away. I literally lost everything to be gay. And I do it all over again because it was so worth it. This time though, I know I've got a city behind me. I know what real love is, and I'm never gonna lose it again.
Love is love. In my neighborhood, that sign is propped up in an older woman's yard. You live in a really gay neighborhood, my friend makes the observation as we pass yet another multicolored house with a pride flag hanging from the window. I joke back that I know, aware of the countless depictions of queer identities throughout my part of the city. I've always been aware of it, but I never thought much of it. The marks of queer identity spread down every street are so regular to me, their presence seems so ordinary. The sidewalk of the neutral ground has been painted rainbow for longer than I've lived there. The array of colors is vibrant as New Orleans itself. An assortment of pride flags hang throughout outside the local gay bar, loudly displaying all the varying identities.
New Orleans is a place where people don't care if people act like themselves. It's one of the most culturally heterogeneous cities in our country, if not the world. We are older than the country we live in itself.
There's a spirit here that I haven't felt in any other place I've been. The music, hands down, is my favorite part. It gives even the most mundane days a soulful soundtrack.
I love those moments when you look down a street and the sunset is silhouetting crooked telephone poles or it's reflected in the pothole puddles.
I love that on a random Tuesday at 7 a.m. you will see someone dressed in an elaborate costume just because, and no one will question it.
Mardi Gras and making eye contact with one of the members of the dancing troupe and attempting to do their dance with them.
The food here is amazing, like king cake and po' boys. And Mardi Gras, being on the float feels like being above the city, throwing down gifts below.
I really enjoy being able to take the 9 bus uptown or mid-city, being able to branch out to the bayou with the levee by Camellia Grill and face the forested river. I was standing on the corner of the street, hovering near the yard sale stop. I had just walked past someone who I guess was waiting for a ride, and I also thought they lived in this house where these 2 cute dogs would be every day barking at me on my way to school. I thought maybe they went to Noka or Benjamin Franklin. It was raining quite hard that day, and I could already feel my duct tape Nike shoes letting in pools of water. I don't quite remember the outfit I had on, but I felt put together, I felt comfortable, I felt swagged out. I don't remember being faggy either. The leaves stuck to the sidewalk from how wet it was, and if you stepped on them wrong, you could probably crack a limb. I checked the bus app again to see when the 57 was coming. And the person across the street got onto a yellow school bus, and it was heading downtown. As it drove off, a window opened, and the person stuck out their head and yelled, "Faggot." You have to wait until you're a safe distance from someone with your friends to do something like that. Or you, in that building, while I'm out on these steps, how far away from us do you have to be? Will you sign those bills in front of my face?
If these bills pass, books from my school's new library, E.M. Forster, Audre Lorde, Virginia Woolf, they'd be taken off the shelves.
My friends, who I'll leave in high school when I graduate, will be left wincing in their seats as they are called a stranger's name.
The club I am president of, the Gender and Sexuality Alliance, will become illegal. All my efforts to make everyone feel loved for who they are will be torn down. Kids whose parents don't quite understand, kids like me, will be forced to hide themselves or uproot their lives.
My mental health would deteriorate after constantly being misgendered and dead named.
Our motto, Laissez les bon temps brûler, would become a vicious lie.
Me and my friends have talked about doing the leaving thing again. We talk of not being able to afford to. I've gotten tired of checking a map, checking anti-trans legislation, checking America. I look for the bottom of the boot at the South. I watch my state go darker, waiting for it to match Florida. They say I'm waiting for a sunset that will never come. There are too many bills and bodies to correct. For this, I can never forgive. For this, it is too hard. I am a man of boundaries. I am a border crossing. I am sorry for my sister. The things she does to keep herself secret. I'm sorry for my brother, whose body's assembled across state lines. I'm sorry my grandmother's prayer used to not work. I'm sorry for saying the fear never leaves. I'm sorry the air is so heavy. I'm sorry the garden dried up. I'm sorry water means drowning. So take your time breathing. Remember, you do not have to be gentle. All of that is gone now. Remember, there's a house of cards inside every deck. Remember Paris. Remember, there will always be angels. Remember, resistance is a hunger. Remember that grief is still love. Remember, you are golden. Remember, the sun is yours as much as it is theirs. Do not let them burn you.
I wish I could sprout wings and take you into my arms. Lift us up and fly away, somewhere where we could be safe together. These wings can only carry me. You are tied down by the ropes our mother created. I hope you don't resent me. I hope you know I would take you with me if I could, and I want to. I hope someday I can come back and find that the ropes have started to tear, and there is just enough energy between the two of us to cut the ropes and fly away together. But you haven't sprouted your wings yet. And these wings can only carry me.
New Orleans is the only home I've ever known. As a young kid, my mom and dad used to take my brother and I on walks around our neighborhood, where they would put on music. And we'd all dance on the cement slabs where historic homes used to sit before Hurricane Katrina. We called them dance pads because my parents did not want us to feel like our neighborhood looked sadder than the ones we'd see in movies. She wanted us to feel joy in the city where her mother, her grandmother, and her grandmother's mother were all born, even when it wasn't as festive or as joyous as usual. I'm moving as soon as I can. I can't live here anymore. I'm graduating in May, and I need to get out of this state. It's felt like a cage for years. I can see our state's future already. Gender-affirming care clinics are going to shut down, slowly but surely, all across the state. Doesn't really matter, though. Can't see them take my insurance for too much longer anyway. Gender-affirming care isn't deemed medically necessary. I'm not going to drop dead if I stop taking it, right? So I'm moving to a city where I'll never get to see Spanish moss blowing on the old oak trees above my head, but to a city where I'll feel safe. I'll be alive, but with hills always blocking the buildings ahead of me, the buildings I've never seen before. Strangers don't say hello like they used to. They don't smile, nod, and start a conversation with you at the bus stop like they used to. The bus that's always a bit late, so you get to hear about the person sitting to your left at the stop's grandkids, life story, and how they bless you for being such a kind stranger under the same God whose word is driving you out of your city. When I was in the car leaving home, I passed the Superdome from the I-10 and stared at it with wide eyes. When I was little, I always wondered what it would be like to fall off the Superdome, and I felt bad for the people who had to clean its roof. I hope they didn't have a fear of heights. As it grew smaller in my vision, I felt like he was being ripped away from me. A new, slightly different question popped up in my head. I wonder how many other people will have the ground removed from under their feet. As the hours ticked on and my eyes grew heavy, I hoped Jesus would take the wheel and ease my cramping forearms, but he never did. I'm not in the driver's seat of my decisions. I'm in the driver's seat of a dark blue Honda Element. Leaving Louisiana, leaving everyone and everything I've ever known.